Taurus is the power to create, and Taurus invites us to embody our worthiness and value. With Taurus energy, we all need this in our change making and leadership to create, to build something substantial and tangible over the long term with patience, practicality, and a dose of pleasure. Now, Taurus is traditionally a sign associated with money abundance and value because its relationship to one's physical needs. So, this Taurus new moon, of course, I want you to think about value and abundance, but I also want you to think about the mindset required to receive. Welcome back, Star Powered family. And if you're new here, aloha and welcome. I'm Leslie Tagorda, Hawaii born astrologer, author of the upcoming book, Astrology for Changemakers, coming out in September 2026, and creator of the Astrobrand method. I light the path for visionaries, healers, and changemakers like you to attune to your strengths, purpose, and power written in your stars. If astrology, leadership, and real change through an uncolonized lens are your jam, click subscribe and let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Star Powered. I am your host, Leslie Tagorda, and today we have a very special episode for this upcoming Taurus new moon. In this episode, of course, I'm going to be talking about the astrology of this particular Taurus new moon, which has a lot to do with mindset. Then we're going to really dig deep into the mindset of abundance or scarcity, because I want to make sure that you're truly operating from this place of abundance and receptivity. Then next, we are going to have a special segment with my friend Jackie McDonald. She is a wonderful tapper, and we are going to talk about this Taurus new moon in the sense of worthiness and what we can do with our bodies to tap through some of that worthiness. And lastly, I'll be sharing your invitations for this Taurus new moon and the reflections that you can use for your Taurus new moon intentions. Let's dive in. It's so interesting that this year's new moons happen at the very tail end of a season where we've had a lot of time to understand the energy that we're being invited into, so that at the end of the season, we can say, it is absolutely clear on what I want for this particular season, this particular Taurus season. Now, I've been really struggling the last few weeks with the bumpiness of my recovery. It hasn't gone as fast as I wanted. It hasn't allowed me to do the work in the way that I wanted to do. And it's really been impacting my sense of self-worth and just like my sense of being. I have not for the last few weeks felt worthy, that's so funny, right? Because Taurus is all about worthiness. What prevents us from feeling worthy? And so, gratefully, when I go through these ups and downs, and I've gone through many ups and downs, which I'm sure you have too, right? There's so many ups and downs in life. We have like existential crises with our economic and societal and our environmental decay. Maybe if you're in your mid 40s to 50s or something, you're going through perimenopause. We have all of these things that are coming at us right now from so many levels. And so, of course, things are going to go up and down and up and down, but we can't have our sense of worth and worthiness tank every time we're going through some kind of crises. And I've been going through that. Now, I'm a very ambitious person, and every time I want to do things, I really want to do things at the very best that I can do. You know that I have a book coming out, Astrology for Changemakers, on September 9th. And from the time I'm recording this, it's have about 100 days out. My team and I, Jeff and I, and Cassandra has been joining in with us on the ops level. We've been preparing this like over the top book launch because, I have to do things over the top as I normally do. Yet, because my energy has been so up and down, I literally have no capacity to produce in the way that I want to. And this has really like messed with my mind. Earlier this week, I was just like kind of really in this dark part of my life because I was just like, I can't do all the things that I want. I'm not producing the way I want. I'm not running my business the way that I want. And I could see that my sense of worth was directly tied to my sense of productivity. And like, duh, where does that come from? So I spent some time. I'm grateful that I have the tools to understand that if I'm going through a place of darkness, I have like, my handy dandy tarot cards and oracle decks that I ask the questions about, like, what do I need to like understand about why I'm feeling this way? What do I need to work through so that I can move through this energy? And ultimately, I was being called. Like, do you ever have these moments? I get these moments all the time where there's a book on my library shelf that just calls to me. But this time, like, I'd be in the shower, I'd be like doing other things. And I had this idea, radical acceptance, radical acceptance. I'm like, yeah, I need some radical acceptance. I get it. But then all of a sudden, I saw the flower in my mind's eye on the cover of the book Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. I mean, you can see this book. This book is about 25 years old, and I have loved this book. It's like earmarked. It's like, drawn all over. I love my books so much that I do kind of beat up my books. I like to mark them up. They're mine, so I'm not giving them back. It's fine. um, but of course, when I was like realized it was Radical Acceptance, the book that I needed to reach for, I went to my bookshelf, opened it straight up as I usually do. Just like I feel like these books, when they call me, they are like oracle cards. They say, open up the page and then you will find exactly what you need. And indeed, I opened up the page to the front page of the first chapter called The Trance of Unworthiness. I was like, oh, dang. Okay, here we go. And in her book, if you haven't read this book, I really highly recommend it. It's just like such a mainstay. It's such a good book. Radical Acceptance, Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha. And at the beginning of her chapter of the Trance of Unworthiness, she assures us that this is not unique to you. That if you are feeling not enough or unworthy or picking yourself apart, that this is an epidemic. This is like all of us have this. And she says that in the trance of unworthiness, convinced that we are not good enough, we can never relax. We stay on guard, monitoring ourselves for shortcomings. When I think about this idea, convinced that we are not good enough, we can never relax. Relaxation is the ultimate state of Taurus. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know that when I talk about Taurus energy, the Ferdinand the Bull, the old Spanish a children's book, I always talk about that main character, Ferdinand, because Ferdinand, besides being a bull, which Taurus is the epitome of this Taurus energy. Ferdinand the bull, instead of fighting like the other bulls like to do, Ferdinand would rather sit under the cool shade of the cork tree, feeling the cool grass under his bum, smelling the flowers, looking over the scenery of, the farm below, that very beautiful pastoral, feeling the breeze, feeling the sun, all of these physical sensations that we in our bodies we get to have. And so Taurus says that if you can relax, meaning take your time to smell the roses, to feel the sun on your face, to feel the grass underneath you, to take in all of your visual sensations, to hear, to smell all of your sensual feelings, that this is the absolute state of prosperity, of abundance, of receptivity. If we cannot be in a state of relaxation, we are literally cutting ourselves off from receiving. And when I'm thinking back to those darkest days that I had just a few days ago, when I was in this place of total scarcity and total lack, I don't actually have anything to that I need in my life. I have everything that I need to survive and thrive. I have a roof over my head. I have food in the refrigerator. I have a comfortable bed to sleep in. Yet my mind was playing with me saying, well, you're not producing, you're not doing enough, you're not good enough. All of the same things that happen. I was like, oh my gosh, hold on. But of course, for, people of color, for change makers, for women leaders, there is this constant message that comes from imperialism, from capitalism, that says if you are not producing, you are not enough, which drives us to burnout, to overdo, to not relax. Because if we're not relaxed, we're going to be in this constant state of unworthiness. And who does it serve for us to feel unworthy? It doesn't serve us, right? And so this Taurus energy is really asking us that, if you have enough food on your table, if you have a roof over your head, if you are physically safe and secure. Now, I know that that's not for that. There are some of us who are still struggling with simple survival, but for those of us who are not struggling with a sense of survival, we have to overcome this brainwashing that we are not enough so that we can be in a state of receptivity, so that we can be in a state of relaxation, so we can be in this state of nervous system regulation in our bodies, no matter if we're maybe recovering from something, maybe we're getting a little old, maybe our hormones are fluctuating, whatever that is, your body does not need to be perfect in order for you to allow yourself the luxury and spaciousness of taking your time. Yes, we can take our time. Now, I know I'm offering this medicine to you, but I'm really offering this medicine to you because I need this medicine. And, this is really evident in the astrology of the new moon. So let's take a quick look at this chart of the astrology of the new moon, why this idea of abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset is so prevalent in this new moon of Taurus chart. So this new moon of Taurus happens at 25 degrees of Taurus, almost 26 degrees, but 25 degrees of Taurus. And this happens on May 16th at 1:01 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And so this is on Saturday. We're getting ready for this Taurus new moon. And when we think about this Taurus new moon energy, again, all of the abundance, all of this embodied spaciousness so that we can receive, so that we can thrive, so that in our change making, in our leadership, we can build something on our own time for the long term, sustainably, meaning without burning out. Okay. Notice that this Taurus new moon is conjunct Mercury. Mercury, of course, our mindset, but Mercury in Taurus also the body intelligence. What is your body literally telling you about your state of being? For the last few days, I've had like my right shoulder has been connected to my ear, my hip has been all like out of alignment, all in Hawaii would call this hamajang. My body is feeling so like, oh my goodness, what is it doing? Because I've been in this state of like freeze. I'm like frozen from like thinking that I'm not enough. Not anymore. I'm feeling really good today. Thank you. My energy again, up and down, up and down. But remember, Taurus is an earth sign and it's ruled by Venus. Well, where is Venus today in this chart? Venus is in Gemini. So we have Gemini, ruler of Mercury. So we have a Mercury, we have a Venus, we have Gemini all tied in with this Taurus energy, which is all about our mindset. So if our mindset is not allowing us to feel, it's creating these different filters of how we are experiencing the world. Well, how can we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance? Remember that how the elements work in astrology is that we get inspired by fire, and then the fire then drops down into our intellect, into our logic. But our logic has these different filters based on our experiences, based on the inherited stories that we grew up, based up with these internal dialogues and narratives that might not even be our own. In fact, a lot of the narratives are not our own, right? Like I was saying, that the narrative that has been driving my unworthiness recently has been about, if you're not producing, you're not worthy. Well, that's not my narrative. That's a societal narrative that comes from capitalism, that comes from the extractive practices of capitalism, that says, well, I'm going to depend on your brown body to do all of the work for us. Well, I'm going to go sit here and relax and drink a mint julep. I'm making this shit up. And so if you're not working, you're not worthy. Forget that. I want that to be released. And so in radical acceptance, Tara Brach says that we are just inherently worthy because we are born. It is, again, a state of being. It's not about how much money is in your bank account. It's not about how much you produce. It's not about how beautiful you are. It's not about how perfect your body is. You, no matter what, because you are here on this earth as a miracle of life, breathing, are inherently worthy. And that can be really, really hard to sit with, right? I get it. And so over the last few days, I've been I've been personally journaling for myself to really get to the heart of why I feel this unworthiness. Again, really examining this idea of like, well, if I'm not producing, how can I still feel worthy? So I don't necessarily have any answers for how you can feel worthy. When we get into the segment with Jackie, she has a beautiful embodiment practice of tapping. So make sure you follow Jackie on Instagram because she'll lead you through this tapping. But if we look at this idea of abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, this is going to help you determine where you're operating from. And if you're operating mostly from scarcity mindset, look up the tools for yourself, for your own individual story about how you can raise yourself, dig yourself out of that scarcity mindset and get into the abundance mindset. Now, scarcity mindset is oftentimes a lie, right? It is a brainwash from different stories that we receive from our family, from society, from culture. Scarcity mindset will say there will never be enough. Right? Maybe this allows you to work in the shadows of Taurus, where you're hoarding things, where you're stingy with things, where you're just like, I can't get enough. I can't get enough, like the hungry ghost. But whereas in abundance mindset, it's there will always be more. I'm always supported. I have more than enough. Money is always coming my way. That Taurus thinking about abundance is that there's just the certainty that I will always be okay. When we're in scarcity thinking, we have to compete with each other, that there can be only one winner, that if I'm not the best, then everything is going to go to hell. Whereas abundance thinking knows that when we collaborate, when we work together, and when we are generous and what's the word? Reciprocal. That's the word. Meaning that we are giving and receiving, generous, but also receiving, not just saying, no, 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 I don't need that. I don't need that. Deflecting compliments is absolutely scarcity thinking because we can't receive the good news. One of my favorite all-time Taurus clients, we've been talking, and I was celebrating some of their wins with their recent event that they hosted, Sex Week Boston. If you know Cecilia Valero, on Instagram, she's Mermaid for Pleasure. And this was the second year that she was operating Sex Week Boston. And it has grown, and she's had like more sponsors and more attendees. And I was celebrating for her about all of the accomplishment that she had created versus last year. And when we went through, the money the revenue that she brought in this year, the grants, the sponsorships, when we were looking at all of the increases in the growth and celebrating, I could see Cecilia get a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller, really like hiding herself a little bit. And I was like, this, like, let's talk about, your Taurian ability to receive. We looked at that a lot. Talked about just like how she would recognize in her parents how if anybody complimented them, they would deflect it or turn it back around on the person who is offering the compliment, and how these stories were inherited. Now we got to some of these roots, and there's still more to do, but it was so illuminating to be able to see, I have a hard time receiving compliments. And I have a hard time receiving compliments because my parents modeled not receiving compliments. And so, what does that do to ourselves when we can't receive, when we're blocking our receptivity? We can't celebrate all of the growth and abundance that, was created from our businesses, from the event that she threw. So, it's really important to understand where our scarcity mindset comes from and what we can do to shift that narrative to move into abundance mindset. Sometimes it's affirmations, sometimes it's what if, sometimes it's tapping, whatever your modality is. I want you to get curious with it, especially as you prepare for this new moon, because we absolutely must move our scarcity mindset into abundance mindset. And if you're stuck in scarcity mindset, that's okay too, because maybe for this new moon, instead of thinking about how much money you want to make for the next month or the next year or the next whatever, start thinking about how you can move through scarcity mindset. Get clear on the stories and the narratives that you need to shift and change within yourself so that you can get into abundance mindset. I mean, that's an amazing thing to receive, to intend for this particular Taurus new moon, is to just receive, not just to simply receive abundance mindset. That is huge. Now, if you're operating in scarcity mindset, you might also be hoarding your knowledge or hoarding your service, refusing to share your wisdom or to help others, or really just kind of suspicious of other people. That absolutely is a sure win of scarcity mindset. Whereas if you have abundance mindset, you freely offer help to others, you build trust and rapport, and you welcome other people's ideas, really not suspicious of others. If you have scarcity mindset, you might be afraid of being replaced, or just always thinking that times are tough, times are so hard, which, I I have been really struggling with those, and I recognize that. But instead, you want to replace that with like the best is yet to come, or the best is now coming my way. Remember that if you're stuck in scarcity mindset, especially with this Taurus new moon, you're going to be stuck in thinking small, avoiding risks, and fearing change. You can hear all of the Taurus energy in that, the shadows of Taurus. But with this new moon, what I really want you to move into is believing that growth and expansion are your birthright, that you are able to embrace change, think big, take big risks, and be the agent of change in your life. So let this be your call to move from scarcity thinking to abundance thinking, because if you're not in that place of abundance thinking, there's not going to be any amount of money that will make you feel peaceful and prosperous.
We are so excited to be back with you and sharing all the info today about the new moon coming up on what date did you say it was, Leslie?
May 16th.
Let's dive in. What can we expect for the May new moon?
Yes. So we have a new moon. It's when the sun and the moon meet. And this time they're meeting in cozy, luxurious, and abundant Taurus. This is totally your new moon, Jackie.
I'm here for, I just said to Leslie as we jumped on, like, I don't know what it is, but I've been following the new moon, full moon cycles and what you've been recommending, and I am in receiving mode. So thank you for saying that. And thank you for sharing all your magic.
Well, like when because like you're like really focused on wealth and abundance and receiving, and the star zodiac of all of those archetypes is Taurus.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yes.
So this is a month for that.
This is yeah, so we've been in Taurus season for a while. It just so happens that this year's new moons are happening towards the end of the season, but it's great because we have had the entire month to kind of figure out like what we want to receive, what are our blocks to receiving. And Taurus is a luxurious energy, meaning that it wants to take its time, right?
Oh, that's so spot on. It wants to take its time. I've been talking with people that have been saying like I feel like things are they're happening, but there's also this sort of waiting energy at the same time. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's not exactly about like waiting per se, but it's not rushing, right?
Okay.
When we're always rushing and thinking that we have to hustle and we have to move fast, we have to do all these things, like that's an attitude of scarcity,
Absolutely.
right? And so Taurus is like, don't tell me that I have to rush. I'm going to take my time. And when I think about Taurus energy, do you know that old like Spanish children's story about Ferdinand the Bull?
Oh, tell me again. I know it, but not I'm like, tell me again.
Yes. So Ferdinand is this bull. He's like just this big young bull, this bull calf, and he grows up to just be like really big and really magnificent. All of his other bull friends, they want to fight. They want to like, lock horns and like because this is a Spanish
Yeah.
kind of story, right? They want to get into the bull rings to fight right?
Yep.
But Ferdinand is like, no, I want to sit at the top of this hill under my favorite cork tree and sit on the cool grass and smell the flowers and look down at the beautiful vista of this beautiful farm. And he's like really just into his body and just feeling all of the sensations, right?
Experiencing it.
Experience, but like through that body, right? Like some of us have a hard time like embodying, like you have to slow down to smell the roses.
Absolutely.
And so at one point, a bunch of like bullfighter, what do you call this? Where they're like scouting for like new bulls, come
Yep.
along and they see Ferdinand. He's like big and huge, but he's like, he's not lazy. He just is not into those other things. And so he accidentally sits down on a bee, and this bee stings him in the butt. And he goes wild and he rages. He's like, oh, this hurts. And, he's just like going crazy. And then these scouts are like, oh, we want him to go fight. Right. So they bring him to the city, to the bullfights. And he just sits there in the middle of the ring. And he's like, I want to smell the lady's hair. Like, I want to like see all these beautiful sights. And he just doesn't fight. Right. And
Yeah.
so to me, Ferdinand the Bull is just this perfect, this symbol of what we can be, right? Like he goes when he wants to, he moves when he wants to, he takes his time, he fully pleasures and experiences all of his physical sensations. And it's such a lesson that when we can live in this beautiful like appreciation and receptivity of pleasure, the masterful receiver that Jackie McDonald is, like that's abundance, that's wealth, that's luxury.
I love that it's like the opposite to rushing. It's really allowing yourself to enjoy the experience of what's unfolding in your life.
Mm.
There's no like good things are happening and let yourself enjoy the process of them coming to life. It sounds like that's the energy of this month.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel like Jackie, you just dropped to me so much medicine right now. It's just like enjoy the good things that are happening. It's just like there's so much good if we just notice.
It's so funny because there are good things happening in my life. And I notice I talk a lot about like your old self and your new self.
Yeah.
And old Jackie would have been like almost anxious to experience it all. And new me has been like, like sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Like
Yeah.
everything is unfolding at the perfect time. Enjoy the process. I feel like these are some of the affirmations that we should be using then this
Yeah.
month while we're
Every
tapping.
yeah,
No
everything's
certain.
coming to us in its own
Yeah.
divine time.
And knowing with certainty that they're coming to pass. Because
Oh,
that's also the opposite of scarcity is certainty. These things are already coming to life.
certainty. And what's interesting, thank you for bringing that up. So, Taurus is an earth energy. The element of Taurus is earth. And so it's very grounded, it's very practical, it's very much into like our physical belongings. And so that's one of the reasons why Taurus is related to luxury and wealth, like so actual physical abundance. But the certainty, right? Taurus is an earth sign, but it's also fixed. So each zodiac has a quality, cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And the fixed signs are certain.
Oh,
Don't tell them what they already know, right? Like it's like they're going to change their mind when they want to change their mind because they know when it's time to change their mind.
that is so funny. So my best friend, it's actually her birthday today, the day we're recording. That is so her. And we always laugh about it because she's just, when she is certain about something, like don't even bother arguing with her about it because
No.
it's just not gonna get you anywhere.
And that's the same with the bull, right? You can't like really pull a bull or like make the bull go anywhere. The bull's going to do what it's going to do because it's like certain. But then when the bull's like, oh, there's some like yummy hay over there, let's go there. And
That's
then
so
boop.
funny. How does that impact us? I know you speak to a lot of change makers.
Uh-huh.
So how does that impact how we're showing up right now?
Yeah. And so, I think Taurus, regardless if you have a lot of Taurus energy in your chart, Taurus reminds us that, hey, to be fully abundant is to appreciate, it's to receive, it's to take our time. And when we do those things, we're giving messages to the universe, to God, that like we're worthy. Right?
Yes. We're worthy and we're in no rush. And of
No.
course, these things are happening for us, letting them unfold. And
Yeah.
it's funny you said luxury because this month I've been feeling like I could just go to a bougie spa for 3 days. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm like usually like hustle, like I like to do stuff, but I'm like, I could just go and spend a bunch of money at the spa. That the Taurus energy?
Yes, because the tourists want to go to the spa to be pampered, right? And like to feel like the luxurious sheets and to smell like the lavender essential oil and to just slow down.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, last Saturday I got a 2 hour massage because I'm like 90 minutes or go home, but I wanted extra, right?
Absolutely.
And then a
Yes.
friend of mine was like, "Oh, you're so hedonistic," and I was like, "No, I'm not."
Oh, I'm following the energy. This is what we're supposed to be doing right now, people.
Yes, I was like, I needed that like embodiment, and like massage is like so perfect. And so, for all us entrepreneurs and change makers and leaders, right, we can take a cue from Taurus to just trust ourselves, be certain with ourselves, and know our inherent value and worth.
Oof. It's true. If you know anyone that's a Taurus, they own their worth pretty strongly. They're like, there's no messing around with that.
Yes. Well, our friend Megan Hale, she's all Leo and she's a lot of fire, right? But she has Taurus on the midheaven, and the midheaven is one of those keys in our career and the businesses that we build. And so of course, she works in money and she's building sustainable wealth. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, there we go."
That is so cool that it's so cool that you can see that in a chart.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. You can see people's business models, you can see their brand voice, you can see all kinds of things.
Oh my goodness. This is why I love having you in my world. And for my clients to have you too. Like, have you worked with someone where you're like your business model is off or needs to be tweaked, or if you did this instead, it works?
Yeah, absolutely. It's more about aligning and attuning and like having people hear the invitation, right? You can't, I'm not really an astrologer, even though people go to astrologers to like tell them what to do. I hate those kinds of astrologers. I'm more like, well, here's an opportunity here. How are you already using it? And how can you make more of it? And so, I'm looking at your chart now, Jackie, and you have Taurus on the second house of money. And so you as the Aries rising, your houses are totally aligned with where they need to be. And so, you're just so natural at this.
Thank you. I didn't know that. So my second house is in Taurus, which is all about money. Does that mean I'm hearing like relaxed money? Like honestly, I make money when I'm having fun,
Yes.
when I'm in good energy. Like, and sometimes that's like walking by the river. It's not
Yeah.
like necessarily a traditional marketing strategy. You know what I mean?
No, it's like because of Taurus again is earth and it's embodied. When you are embodied, when your body is relaxed and calm and your nervous system is regulated, that's when you are in your money flow.
Oh, that's it. You know what's one of the things that I notice that when I'm not embodied is this there's certain people that make me come out of that, or
Yeah.
people that are in my life that I'm like, ooh, I'm not in my body right now. I don't feel safe.
Yes.
Um, Something to look at. Yeah,
Yeah, like practicing your protection tools in terms of like protecting your energy from them just so that they don't have that grip on you, because when you're not in your body, like that's when you're turning off your receiving flow. And so,
absolutely.
going to the bougie spa, if I may say, is actually an investment in your money and your business, Jackie.
It's a money producing activity this month. I'm gonna just take that. This is
All the
fine.
time, all the time.
Yeah. I need to write this spa day off because this is required for me to make more money.
Oh, absolutely. It's a business expense, 100%.
Oh, I love it. So, when it comes to tapping this month, some of the recommendations will be to let yourself relax, let yourself receive, let yourself enjoy the luxuries of life. It's safe for me to slow down. Would those
Yes.
be accurate?
It's safe for me to slow down. And one thing that I want to bring in is how does, when you think about your voice and your neck and your throat, all of this part from like the tops of our shoulders to our neck is also ruled by Taurus. And so there's this part of us that we need to really feel safe. Earlier, I was at my therapist and we were talking about feeling safe, and she gave me like this vagus nerve, like breathing exercise. And there's something about this particular Taurus new moon with also Mercury in Taurus and Venus, the ruler of Taurus for our astro nerds here, for our Venus, the ruler of Taurus being in Gemini, that has something to do with being able to speak our truth of our wealth. Does that make sense?
Oh, tell me more about that. Speak our truth of our wealth.
Yes. So if we, like if we can like speak to like all of the wonderful affirmations, like all of the good things are coming our way, but from this place of really relaxed calm, where we're not in fight or flight, we're actually in that receptive mode, right? If we're in fight flight, we can't receive. And so many of us are just operating in that place. And so part of maybe the tapping affirmations that you can give people is to get people into that place of like embodied and nervous system peace before they speak their desires of value and luxury and receptivity.
This is when I notice the tapping works the best is when I actually start with the body first. When I calm the body down,
Yeah.
people first, and then invite the affirmation, people were like, that's the best one ever you've ever done. And so
Yeah.
this is important for us to know for all of you tapping people out there. Just start with how's my body feeling as
Yeah.
I enter this new moon? And if there's any tension anywhere, tap and talk to that tension, release it, then receive the affirmations. And one of my favorite affirmations in the past year is that everything I'm doing is working for me. And I
Mm.
feel like a Taurus would be like, no problem saying that. Like, yeah,
Oh
of
yeah.
course, everything I'm doing is working for me.
Everything. And I want to add for that, like I like the idea of like divine timing, right? So that we don't feel like, well, it didn't happen now, how come it didn't happen now? It's like, well, it's happening.
It's happening. It's on its way. I can relax. I can receive. I'm in certainty. It's already done. Beautiful affirmations.
I needed this, Jackie.
Oh. We need each other. That's why we're here. So it's actually a Leslie and Jackie hangout. You guys just get to be a part of. Um, anything that we should like not do or avoid, any don'ts around this new moon?
Not in like not a specific don't for like this particular new moon, but for all of new moons in general. And I think this goes with the same with, your philosophy around tapping. It's to not worry about the how.
Mm.
Right. We can get so stuck in like, how is this possibly going to ever happen that we block ourselves from that place of receptivity. And so that's always my caution for new moons, because new moons are about setting new intentions, about getting fresh and clear, because, you've evolved, you shifted, you changed, your desires are different. And so what do you desire now in terms of your worthiness, your abundance, your wealth, your peace of and calm of body and mind?
Oh, and like really coming at it from that relaxed place of like, yeah, I'm setting this intention, knowing it with certainty it's coming and enjoying the ride of it getting here. Like if
Yeah.
there's such a different place of alignment receiving and then like action receiving, like forcing masculine, like we gotta do it now.
Yeah.
And you and I are like the people that don't do it that way. And
No,
everything
doesn't work.
happens. Yeah. And people are like, how is everything happening? And it's like, it's these practices that we're doing with Leslie and you're tapping with me on the new moon. This is it.
Yeah, because receptivity, right, is very feminine. It's passive, not meaning like not we're not doing anything, but we're not pushing, right?
Yeah. And we're listening, right? Like some of the things I'm doing is like sitting by the river with my journal or talking with you, right? It's a different type of energy. And not that we don't take action because we do,
We're
but
very ambitious. We take a lot of
we're yeah,
action.
we take a lot of action, but it's aligned action.
Yeah.
And that feels, yeah, like an invitation for all of us to remember today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, is there anything else about the new moon? I feel like we covered
Oh
it.
my gosh, yeah. This is just really a beautiful new moon, and it's really preparing us to use our voice, and using our voice in ways that our voices are powerful, meaning we can literally ask for what we desire, and the universe listens.
So would this be a good like tapping and speaking it into existence time?
100%.
Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that on the new moon tapping. That's what we're
Oh,
doing.
I can't
I
wait to
love it.
catch your tapping.
Yes. And you have your new moon practices as well. Can you share with everyone about that?
Yeah. So usually when I'm doing new moon practices, of course, I'm using more astrology because I really know my chart. I know how to read a natal chart. And so I'm looking at where the new moon falls in terms of like which house, because, an astrological house has 12 houses, and each of these houses represent a different part of our life and our business. And so when we go through the new moons, of every month, and throughout a year, we're going to refresh all of our intentions holistically through our lives. And so for me, this new moon is very spiritual. It's in my 12th house of undoing self-sabotage, of reconnecting to my highest selves, of trusting in the process of being reborn. And so the 12th house is a very spiritual house. And so for me, I'm going to reset some of my intentions and reconnecting with my spirit guides, and just realigning them to like what we desire now, like with business changing, with my book launch and things like that. So I get clear on what I want. That's number one. And then I usually journal it out. And when I get clear with what I want, I actually speak it out to the universe.
Okay, so that's everyone's reminder. Write it out, get clear on what you want. Come tap with me on the
Yes.
new moon and we will speak it out together.
I think the tapping is just such a beautiful way because it's embodied, right? That's how we pour it back into ourselves.
And that's the theme this month, embodied. Get
Yes.
into the body. Um, you also have a book coming. When is
I
it gonna
do.
be ready? We're excited.
Yes, I am so excited. The book pub date is September 8th. 2026. So it's right around the corner. My team and I have been really busy getting all the infrastructure set up, all the things that you have to do for a book launch. I guess that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and trusting that process.
Yes, and we're here cheering you on. When that book is ready, there's going to be all the links. You guys, we're going to support Leslie, share it, buy it. You guys know if I love her, that she is like the best in the business. So I'm so excited for everyone to get your book, and we're going to support you all the way. So let us know
Thank
how
you.
we can do that.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Jackie. Oh my gosh. I feel so supported and loved. Thank you.
thank you. Yes.
Okay, friends. So let's get really clear on your Taurus new moon intention by looking at which house of your natal chart is being activated by 25 degrees of Taurus. That is where the sun and the moon are meeting. Remember that the house that is being activated, the house in which contains that new moon degree, is the place in your chart that is requesting, inviting you for a fresh intention to get clear. Of course, baseline is your abundance mindset to feel inherently worthy. And where Taurus appears in your chart by house is going to show you in which area of your life and leadership you need to bring more comfort, more value, more worthiness, and abundance. So grab your chart, look for 25 degrees of Taurus, and listen in. If you have Taurus of 25 degrees in your first house, you are being invited to create a new intention of how you can lead and guide with a comforting, luxurious personality that adds value. So, how can you show up more Taurus, more inviting, more receptive, more spacious, more luxurious? If you have Taurus new moon activating your second house, you're being invited to ask, how can you create more value, gain results, invest in sustainability, invest in being more values aligned, create steady growth? What does that look like for you? How do you create value for the long term? If you have Taurus of 25 degrees activating your third house, this new moon is inviting you to ask yourself, how can you express yourself and communicate with embodied, grounded, and peaceful words of encouragement? How can you work on your mindset so that you're saying words that affirm your value, that affirm your worthiness? How can you share and communicate and market with words that are very tactile and embodied feelings? If you have Taurus new moon activating your fourth house, this is asking you to get an intention of creating your sense of belonging. Your worthiness is tied to how you belong in spaces, how you protect resources that overcome scarcity. So you're doing this for yourself, but you're also creating this for others in your work, creating a sense of belonging. If you have the Taurus new moon activating your fifth house, you are being invited to create passion projects, the passion projects that allow you to expand, the passion projects that allow you to feel good in your body and allow you to go at your own pace. So, what are the projects that you can create that you can feel playful and enjoyment? How can you create more joy that feels good in your body? If you have this Taurus new moon activating your sixth house, this is absolutely about building a daily practice for wellness. And building a daily practice for wellness is about building systems that allow you to have sustained energy, sustained growth, and building up your sustained strength. And so think about this from an embodied practice for your personal life, but also how you can build this in your work life. If you have this Taurus new moon activating your seventh house, how can you collaborate and partner with other creators and manifestors and makers that want to thrive? This is absolutely about seeing your value and your worth in your interpersonal relationships. If you have Taurus new moon activating your eighth house, how can you trust yourself, trust your worthiness, trust your ability to receive support through other resources, knowing that you will always be taken care of? If you have Taurus new moon activating your ninth house, how can you build out your worth by understanding your purpose, that there's more than enough for everyone to thrive in peace and prosperity. If you have the Taurus new moon activating your 10th house, this is inviting you to deliver your value, to deliver your worth through your ultimate mission as an expert manifester to create sustainable value and tangible wealth. How can you see this as part of your reputation that you were here to be of value and to create value for yourself and others? If you have the Taurus new moon activating your 11th house, how can you change the world with your vision of protections and community building through sustainable activism? Your worth is tied to your communities, who you surround yourself, how you create social impact, and what is your vision around that? And lastly, if you have Taurus new moon activating your 12th house, like it is for me, how can you relax your body and ground into spirituality when needing to retreat or get over self sabotage? I'm laughing because I'm reading this and I'm like, okay, that was absolutely my message that I needed. That absolutely reminded me about radical self acceptance, because when she talked about the trance of unworthiness, the key out of it is to be to live in spirituality, and I needed that. I need to relax into my body as well. So we all have our medicine here. I really hope that you found this Taurus new moon medicine and intentions and message helpful and hopeful for you. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, leave us a comment, subscribe, leave us a review. Those things really, really matter in terms of how we can get this message to more change makers and leaders like you. So thank you again for joining me. Thank you again for joining Jackie. Be sure to follow Jackie McDonald, the Jackie McDonald on Instagram for her tapping. She will lead you through a new moon tapping for this Taurus new moon. All right, my friends, I will talk to you soon. So thank you again. If this episode, if this podcast has touched your heart, please share it with others. Please leave me a rating and review so we can reach the hearts of even more change makers like you.